Greetings from southeastern Pennsylvania. I'm in the county of Chester, and I'm sitting here in the shop of Rich. Rich owns Chester County Transmission in Coatesville. How you doing, Rich?
Very good, Tom. How are you doing today?
Great. Thanks for joining me today. Rich, what I wanted to do, as I told you on the phone coming in, I wanted to just sit with you for a couple minutes and get a testimonial from you about your website that I set up for you and a little bit about my service that I've been offering you. And I really appreciate you spending the time with me.
Oh, glad to help, Tom.
Okay, now we set up your website. Your website was actually a long time in the setup process because I recall that you folks had ordered it well over a year ago.
Yep, that's right. We were kind of reluctant to change the one we had, a little bit of fear of change, but knowing that you had set up our original one too through a different company, we had confidence that you would take care of us properly, and we're very pleased with what we have now.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now let's talk about what you have. In your particular situation, as I was driving in here to do this interview today, I was going through the town of Coatesville, and it is a rather small town.
Coatesville is actually just big enough to be considered a city, believe it or not. It's not
Okay.
very big town, not a very big place, but I believe the population is somewhere around 15,000, 20,000, something like
Yeah,
that.
that's not very big.
Not very big.
So when I was setting up your website, as you recall, I hope that you got the impression that I really took the time to familiarize myself with your particular disposition insofar as your geographical location. And as I recall, what we did was we focused on, Coatesville is a small town, and obviously you want to be optimized being the process of being found on Google,
Right.
for the city in which your business is located. But as I looked around the map of Chester County, I identified Downington as being a good market that you could potentially draw from.
Yeah, actually, I was very impressed at the demographics you apparently had looked into when you developed our ad. We are kind of almost centrally located between the two towns, a little bit closer to Coatesville possibly, but we draw heavily from both.
Right.
So being that, you're not even from the area, we're able to, apparently did your homework, checked out some maps and did the demographics. You were able to hone in on exactly the areas we needed attention.
Now,
So
now I
appreciate
believe,
it.
yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Now I believe that if I go to Google, for example, obviously if you type in Coatesville Transmission Shop or Coatesville Transmission Repair, you're at the top. But I believe you do rank very well for Downington as well, correct?
That's correct. We even show up well, even in the local areas that I think aren't as populated in the areas like Exton, a little part of southern Chester County still find us even that way through the
Wow.
through the site you've developed with us.
Wow. Now let's talk about the site that I developed for you. Do you get feedback from your customers on it?
Yes, actually, I've gotten some amazing feedback. From local shops and stuff. I've had local shops contact me and say they've never seen a better developed website.
No kidding.
And asked me if they can have links and things like that to us because of it. So it's done good for our marketing also. We've had great success with that.
Now, were you pleased with when I was setting up the website for you and I was familiarizing you with the back end of the website? What my goal was in setting up that back end of the website was to give you the tools necessary to be able to go in and change the content. Have you found that to be?
Well, that is actually, you're bringing that up, that is probably the most particular improvement I've seen in it, that I like the most. I never felt as though I had good control over our website. In this case, you went over with me how to get into it, how to make changes and modifications, which basically makes you feel more empowered about what you can do with it.
Good.
Because before that, you just feel like you're at the mercy of whatever you have, and you just let it run,
Right.
which is never very satisfying.
And have you found working with me to be a good experience?
Absolutely, Tom. You've always been there. You've always returned calls. You're genuinely concerned with what our needs are. You know our particular industry very well because I think you've focused a lot on automotive and transmission, related businesses, and that shows in what you've recommended and what we get from you. So we really appreciate that.
Well, that's great. So we're going to close this interview here, and in doing so, I want to thank you for joining us. I want to thank Rich with Chester County Transmissions.
Very good to help.
And if you are ever in this area, Chester County, Pennsylvania, stop by and say hi to Rich here. Have a great day.
We'll be glad to help.